Beyidma Inyam, and I'm not doing this alone. I'm together with the beautiful, fair-looking Kermo.
That never gets old. When the way you say it, I just love the way you just compose yourself and say it with a straight face. Thank you though for the compliment. you know, a lot of people are a bit under the weather. I don't know if it's the persistent rain. We are glad because farmers are indeed smiling, but that just reiterates the need for people to dress properly, to keep themselves warm at all times, and to ensure that they avoid taking cold drinks because, well, coming down with a cold is not beans, and I'm sure nobody wants that. As you do that, ensure that you're close to your television set because we will not disappoint today.
Yes, the last episode we focused on your civic responsibility. We were asking the question, are you duly registered for, are you ready for the next phase of our elections come 2027? And we brought in here the director, National Orientation Agency here in Plateau State, who spoke and enlightened you some more, especially on the need for you to register. If there was anything that stood out in that discussion was the fact that when you register, when you have your voter's card, you have the power in your hands to speak and to address issues around you. It means that you own your environment, you own the system. But if you don't vote, if you don't register, you don't have your voter's card, let me tell you what happens, what she said. Government will assume there are no people in that area where you live. If all of you decide not to, it means there are no people there. It's one way to know there are people there and they need to be responsible to the people. So we need to do that, not only for elections, but to register the fact that we are on the ground. Very, very important, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah. So away from civic responsibilities now, all about taking care of yourself. You take care of yourself socially, you take care of yourself mentally, you take care of yourself. Yes, your health, very, very important. You have to live for you to participate in politics, isn't it? And so we are looking at hepatitis. Do you know that the World Hepatitis Day is around the corner? What do you know about it in the first place? What do you know about it? Don't think you know enough until you have come with us through this program. And then you can now satisfy yourself that, yes, at least I know this much about hepatitis and what I should do and what I should not do. And today we have the best guest in the studio. Yes, we always go for the right person that will not just talk around, but specifically talk on our topic. And I'm sure you'll be glad that you stayed with us. Kermo will introduce our guest, and we move on from there.
Our esteemed guest on the Baroness this beautiful day happens to be a consultant hepatologist. Yes, you know we mean business. Dr. Okwute Atta. It's a pleasure to have you on the Baroness, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I started out by asking our viewer, how much do you know about hepatitis? What do you know? Are you sure is enough? Do you think that's enough knowledge? I think let's start from that knowledge. What is hepatitis?
Yeah, thank you once again for having me. Yeah, hepatitis, it's a virus. Okay. Well, in simple terms, I would just say hepatitis is some form of inflammation of the liver. Okay.
Okay.
And this inflammation can be caused by a variety of things. Okay. And for the purpose of this discussion and for the purpose of World Hepatitis Day, which is celebrated every 28th of July, of each year. So we'll focus more on the viral causes. So there are viral causes of hepatitis, which is very, very common in sub-Saharan Africa and over 300 million people are living with both hepatitis B and hepatitis C. So you see how, the burden we have of this problem. And, these viruses can lead to, inflammation of the liver, and then subsequently it can cause, liver damage if not, addressed, and then can cause, cancer eventually.
Okay, so what are those causes you want to let us in? Because I'm sure our viewer is itchy to know. If you know the cause of a condition, I'm sure you will do everything to run away from it or protect yourself.
Yes, we have different strains of hepatitis, of viral hepatitis, to be specific. Okay, so we have hepatitis A through E. So you have hepatitis A, you have hepatitis B, you have hepatitis C, you have hepatitis D and E.
Wow.
And all of this can cause some form of liver damage. Okay. However, we are more focused on hepatitis B and C because, it's the virus that can cause chronic infection of the liver. And then that can lead to damage and cancer eventually.
Okay, still looking at the B and C, I'm actually glad this conversation went there. I'm looking at current statistics of hepatitis in Nigeria. According to the World Health Organization 2026 Global Hepatitis Report, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health data for 2025. And it actually, the figures are mind-boggling. According to these figures, Nigeria is ranking third highest number of people living with hepatitis B and C in the world after China and India, which is the highest burden in Africa. Why is Nigeria facing this? Why Nigeria?
Yeah, it's a problem of sub-Saharan Africa, and it's logical that Nigeria will have a high burden because we have a very high population, so, and the higher the population, the chances, of getting more people having hepatitis B and C. So, and it all boils down to lack of knowledge. Okay, and when they say people die, because of lack of knowledge. So, because of that, people get exposed, and then, they put themselves at risk, of contacting those infection, okay, and then cause damage. But however, things have actually...
When you're telling people about that, a lot of people are scared because they do not have enough information, as you mentioned. Now, that might lead to fears of whether it's being contagious or not. And then people who have it, some might think it's a death sentence. So can you allay the fears of people? Is it contagious and is it a death sentence?
Yes, it can lead to damage. And then, of course, for people living with hepatitis B and C, it's not a death sentence. Okay, and there are treatment options for people, and there are people living their normal life, that are living with hepatitis B, especially, okay, which is one of the viruses that can be managed, okay, but can not be cured, unlike hepatitis C, where you can, people can get cured, permanently from hepatitis C. So, so in this kind of forum, we try to raise awareness to let people know how, we try to raise awareness to let people know how, you can contact, you can get infected, the routes of